The pastry is the last bit of warmth left on my person once we go outside. The temperature has gone down a bit as the day has gone on. I take a bite out of my tart, and it's more flavorful than I imagined it could be. The flaky crust tastes good, and the almonds had a very nice texture. Actually, that sounds a lot like the pastry I talked about. I think it was like an egg tart thing in a little cup. It's great. I can hear Lau next to me, chowing down on his pie. It's bite-sized for him, and it's shaped like his face. He finishes it and rubs the back of his head.
They always have the best food. Do you like it?
It's really good. I say this with my mouth full and I chuckle a bit.
I'm glad you like it. Let's go sit by the fountain.
Okay. He rubs the back of his own head. It's like, the dogs have evolved. They can pet themselves. They don't need us anymore. We walk over to the fountain and sit on the ledge. Warm water particles bounce up onto us from the fountain, but I don't mind. Right, because they have warm water here. Like all of it is basically. That throws me.
Yeah, spring water, I guess.
Yeah, the idea of being cold and the fountain being warm is like everything's topsy-turvy. My Californian brain can't accept this. Lyle moves his cape so he's not sitting on it and pulls out his dagger. I finish eating my food and stuff the paper into my coat. He's sitting there with a thoughtful look on his face while he twirls the dagger in his paw. I start to feel a bit tired and decide to lean against him for a bit. It feels nice being this close to him. I feel him tense up a little as I put my weight on him.
Oh, I can move over if you want to lay down.
No, this is fine.
Okay.
I can feel him start to calm down, and after a while he leans into me too. His fur smells like coconut. It's a really strong scent.
There's our wolf flavor of this
Huff
VN. That's something that's really consistent with all the Amicus continuation VNs, is every single one of the wolves gets a distinct flavor.
You gotta be preemptively ready for your Huff Aromas integration.
I say this, Jericho, you did put in that vanilla shampoo for Cooper.
That's
what's established.
What? The only thing I know about Cooper is that he doesn't bathe.
I was gonna say that's what anyone remembers of him. And it's like, several months ago, I'm like, maybe after the 4th time he takes a shower on screen, people will stop calling him stinky, but it doesn't work. It never works, and it's never going to work.
Audiences always fixate on certain things, and also certain things just kind of become memed out of your control in a weird way. Something that stood out to me was that, like, Ka made his visual novel Null Way Home, and he thought it'd be cool to have these sequences where, since you're playing as this person that seems to not have originally been a Null, and he's like encountering new characters, each time he encounters them, you see this like synesthesia looking like visual representation of what they smell like, and it's distinctly like not horny in the description. Like, it practically will be like, they smell like sandalwood and so, and blah blah blah. It immediately got dragged as being like the Musk Kink visual novel, and it's like, what? This entire game is not about that. There's no sex scenes in it yet, and it just happens to have a moment where the character that's not used to having the senses notices what people smell like when they show up for one description for each person, and then it moves on. And it's like, I don't understand how everyone's fixating on this, but that's the experience of making a story, I think.
You'd be surprised what people will take and just like run away with, like, for years on end. Like, I'm trying to think, like, what was Amicus's like unintentional character trait that people just ran with?
I mean, people still call it the Stockholm Syndrome game.
Yeah, it's true.
I get actively dragged for defending the Stockholm Syndrome game, and I'm like, that's not entirely the point of... That's a strange takeaway.
I feel like people don't really
read.
No, what stock? Yeah, true. They don't read the novels they read. Oh, am I allowed to say that? Oh, actually, oh.
I'm gonna call out the most famous trait of free visual novel audiences, which is that they don't read the things they're fans of.
It's true. Like I don't know if you've been watching Arcane, but like one of the biggest running joke is like, man, don't mess with Arcane fans. They don't watch their own show. That's kind of how I feel with a lot of the loud people in certain fandoms.
No,
they're.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, it's just the fact that like if you're a fan of some kind of fictional property, the act of experiencing the fictional property comes and goes over the course of like a week. And then you being a fan is just this like eternal sort of like flanderization that you're continually doing.
Your experience with it is
like you're hanging out in a Discord or a Reddit that's about that thing, and then those people are just continually talking to each other forever on a loop, and quickly like the people's like reads on like individual characters or even what the story is about will just drift dramatically as they like because their experience of the fiction becomes more like just other people talking about it and like fan art, so it gets like flanderized and gets more and more distant from like the actual text, and at some point people need like a refresher to remember what's even going on. Like someone mentioned this before, I mentioned this on Blue Sky this week, but it was like I've always been like a little surprised how many Echo fans in the Echo Discord seem to not understand that Keith is dead, when that's like that's like the whole point of his character. It's like it's not even a mystery really, it's like it's distinctly significantly important that Keith is dead throughout that story.
Oh, that was the friend who moved? That's right. I was like, wait, who the fuck is Keith? I was like, were you in that visual novel?
No,
I'm like, oh, that's right. It's been years.
Keith is like the sort of like the Casey from Night in the Woods equivalent of
that's right.
Echo. Like it's like there's no real way to engage with that story without knowing that, but people don't. But it's surprisingly common for people to not fully understand that about him, and I'm like, huh.
Well, if they don't tell you it, then who's to say? If they don't just come, you can't.
They told you. That's a bit of the problem there.
Reading comprehension. They should teach Echo in college.
They should teach Echo in college. Oh my god, what a world that'd be in. It's like I think there's a. I forgot if it was high school or college, but there's some place that was doing classes on fursuit making.
I was about to say, yeah, there's like a college where they're like kinesthetic, like basically phys ed class was like making a fursuit.
Yeah, that sounds wild.
I'd sign up. I'd go back to college for that. Probably be cheaper than my tuition. To get a fursuit.
The materials would be absurdly expensive, but I think some of the art classes that I took in art school, they have no shame.
Scary. That would probably be one of those strange soaps from the bathroom. I don't remember seeing or smelling coconut in the bath, though. Did it come in a small bottle with a vertical portrait of a character on it? It's nice. It reminds me of home. Where there was this nice tavern with coconut-scented candles. I start to daydream about pressing my face into his warm embrace when I'm snapped out of it by him nudging me on the shoulder.
Hey.
Huh?
You're freezing cold.
He brushes one of his paw pads up against my forehead.
Do you want to go get my sword and head back to the castle?
So you remember where that sentence is
going. Do you want to get my sword?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's you remember where the sentence is going. You're like, excuse me?
Lyle, we're in public.
I mean, unless you're into that. I
mean, in front of your queen? What would she think of us?
In front of your old sports team? Here in this pool with a gator?
Oh my god.
Sure, I think I'm ready to go.
Okay.
He helps me up and we start walking towards the forge. I was starting to feel a little bit cold. A little bit too cold. I guess the warmth of the castle has been coddling me these past few weeks. For me, the cuddling with your wolf fantasy is somewhat harmed by him wearing a breastplate.
That would be you'd probably stick to it.
It's like hugging a PS4.
That's so specific.
That is a very specific.
I'm just looking at a PS4. That's the context. I'm at my recording setup, so there's a PS4, a PS5, a Switch, a Wii U, and an Xbox One here? Yeah.
The fridge?
Yeah. The big old guy. The chunk. My PS5 has a pup mask on top of it. Where is it? Where do I put it? I don't know where to put it. We enter the forge, and Eden is standing at his anvil, banging away at a piece of metal. I spot Lyle's longsword on the rack with the others. The wolf head pommel stares back at me with an angry face. You can tell the sword is built for a big person because it completely dwarfs the other long swords, making them look like short swords.
Welcome back, my friends.
It's innuendo. Look at look at all these swords in this rack. Yeah.
Mine's the biggest.
Yeah, you notice that mine's the big one? Hope this isn't
do you think he's compensating?
Or it's foreshadowing. There's never been a visual novel love interest that has ever been compensating. No one's brave enough to write that story. It's like, what if write an entire visual novel about your wolf love interest being disappointing? just like go down the list. Like, how many ways can we make this guy kind of a bummer?
I mean, Hylia route. Oh shit! Shots fired! Oh fuck!
Shots fired. No. You know, you made that animation, and people get mad at me for it.
Yeah, you're welcome, Keith.
It's like, this is Purp's animation and Stephanie's jokes, and everyone's mad at me. I blinked. I know, I'm stupid.
There she is, all sharp and ready for use.
He's right. The blade of Vekrite is... Vekrite? Vekrit.
Gonna grab Atmac by his neck and pull him in. He was like, hey, how do you pronounce this? Okay,
how
thank you.
How do you pronounce any of these things? He's right. The blade of Vekrite's practically glowing in the firelight. When the light hits her just right, you can even see a bit of a swirled design.
Thanks, Ed. You really are the best.
I know. And don't you forget it. Just like you won't be forgetting the price. You're getting a discount, but it's not free.
Of course not. How much is it this time?
5.
All right, then.
Lyle pulls out his pouch again and sifts through it for 5 gold pieces.
Here you go, Eden.
He drops the pieces into his paw, and Eden stuffs them into his apron.
Thank you very much, good sir.
Lyle walks over to the rack and picks up his sword, swinging it onto his back and sliding it into the sheath.
Have a pleasant day.
The fact that he has a back sheath, just all I can think about is that, like, there was recently footage going around of this, like, shockingly accurate Link cosplayer.
Oh, yeah, the Link cosplayer. Yeah.
Just an incredible one. But he has a back sheath, and so they can't draw their sword. They literally can't do it. Like, they go the full length of their arm, and it doesn't escape the sheath. And I'm like, Lyle has a long sword? What kind of sheath is it, I wonder? And then even the replies to the Zelda video, there's people that the cosplay of Link. There's people replying that do video games of and they model characters that have back sheaths, and they reveal how they just cheat, and like when the sword is like 75% of the way out, the rest of the sword just clips through the sheath towards the character, so you can't see it. And so so like even the video game characters that have back sheaths can't draw their swords. Like, they have to cheat the animation. So like I'm thinking about Lyle. He's got a back sheath, and it's a long sword, and I'm like, this poor boy, he's gonna die on the battlefield the moment a real fight starts. He's not gonna get that sword out. Is a
longsword the same thing as a claymore? Because claymores are the one kind of medieval sword that they're like two-handers. It's just like, this looks like it sucks. Like, I would not want to be on the battlefield with this fucking thing.
I think a claymore is very thick and like heavy. A longsword, like, I think it is just like a longer sword.
Okay.
I think a longsword might still be. Because I think a claymore is like a 1.5 sword. Wait, that's a bastard sword. I don't know. This is difficult.
Comments, you've got Google on your side. Make yourselves look smart.
I'm still trying to figure out how to pronounce falchion or falchion or falcoin.
I've always said falchion. But I think that's just because that's what Fire Emblem's conditioned me to say.
You too, old friend.
We step outside, and Lyle stretches, standing on his tiptoes.
Oh, big stretch.
Big stretchies. He lets out a big yawn, showing off his big sharp teeth. He's got sharp teeth.
Ready?
Yes. Lyle leads me up the alley where the tunnel back to the castle is. He opens the door and we go down the steps with him holding my hand. Once we get back, Lyle dropped me off at my room and had to leave me to go do something. He said that he would be back around sunset. I can't pronounce things. He said that he would be back around sunset if I wanted to go anywhere, to make sure I stay safe and out of trouble. I assured him that I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself. He knows this, but just wants to make sure that I'm okay. What would I need to be afraid of? I decided to go for a walk down the halls and maybe try to find someone to talk to. As far as I know, I don't have anything else planned for today, so I'm just trying to fill the boredom. I hear some voices come up from the hall after a while.
Forgot my voice. Yes, I know that. Oh, okay. Still, I just wanted to let you know that you have to let them heal for at least a day. I understand. I'm not an idiot. Of course, Your Highness.
Once I turn the corner, I find it hard to keep a straight face. Did his antlers fall out? Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta be demasculating.
I knew where we were going. I'm just immediately like, hello, Louis.
I feel like if you laughed at Adrius the way that Jericho just laughed, you would like you would have your head off over on the spot. Yeah, off of his head.
Just kills you. I just think about how like Louis in Beastars is just so fucking fragile in his masculinity that he wears fucking prosthetic antlers whenever they fall out because he can't ever be seen being natural. Like he can't just normal things about deer. Nope, he has to be perfect at all times. It's also hard not to notice. Like if I chopped off all my hair. Prince Adrius. What on Tigran happened?
Richter.
What do you mean, what happened? I shed my antlers.
Oh. I'm not entirely sure if that's a normal thing. Honestly, his answer just brings up more questions. I've heard that some species with horns will shed them, but I didn't think this is what that meant. What did you think it meant?
It's like a molt of your antlers.
Like your antlers molt?
I feel like I have to point. I don't know if Beastars gets this specific with it, but with deer there is the absolutely horrifying like velvet thing that's just like a Lovecraftian nightmare.
And then when they have to rip that off, it like looks like they've gored something.
Yeah. It's like entrails hanging off in bloody shreds, and they eat it.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross, but yeah, in order for your horns to grow, they need to be, because they're bone, they have to be like inside your body. So while the horns are growing, that's when you see those deer that have like fuzzy antlers. Because they have like skin and fur over them, and then that sheds when it splits and bleeds and just like all comes off and peels off, and then you get the bone antlers. I've seen furry art where like a gay couple that is like a bit of like the like toxic, horny, gory, violent, Joker-fied type, you know, Tumblr OC murder gays. One of the ways of expressing that relationship is like it'd be like a wolf and a deer, and the wolf like eats the velvet off of the deer's antlers when he's developing.
Yo,
you know, the type of the part of Tumblr that really loves gay murder husbands.
Yeah,
the twinks with knives. I've heard that some species with horns will shed them, but I didn't think that this is what that meant. So, this is normal?
Of course it's normal. It happens every winter.
He takes a deep breath.
I know I'd preferred you to not see me this way. So don't go blabbing to your lackey about like this is some sort of hilarious joke.
After this outburst, he pushes past me, continuing to walk down the hallway. Your Highness, I wouldn't... Leaf scuttles behind him, trying to get some of the last words in.
Now remember, you need to rub that oil on your, horns once every day, and they should grow back in no time.
I can't see his face right now, but I'm pretty sure Adrius is rolling his eyes so far back in his head that they might just get stuck.
Of course, I'm sure with how healthy they were, they will grow back even faster. Our prince always did have such beautiful horns.
Wow, rub it in. I rub the back of my head as I listen to Leaf desperately try to advise him. Adrius reaches the door to what I presume is his room. It's a large set of double doors with antler-shaped handles.
And remember to...
Adrius leans in the doorway of his room and pokes his head out.
Thank you so much for your kind words of wisdom and compliments, Doctor.
He says this in a very insincere tone, almost mocking him.
Goodbye.
He shuts the door on Leaf, causing him to reel. Patting off his robe, he lets out a sigh of defeat and starts walking toward me. Why is he always like that?
What do you mean?
Why is he so rude all the time? He takes a moment to think. Or choose his words wisely.
It's because of all the expectations being weighed on him. He doesn't get out a lot, he doesn't get a lot of time for himself.
I don't know. He just seems very closed off.
Rich of him saying he doesn't get much time for himself. Oh, by the way, I'm like literally walking up to you to your room trying to say things to you. He hasn't opened up to anyone in a very long time from what I've heard. Gosh.
Oh, right. Don't be so harsh on the poor lad.
Handsome.
The sneaky cat approaches us while Leaf jumps a bit.
It's a large burden that he's being given. It's best that we give him some space and treat him with respect.
He pauses after this statement and holds out his paw, observing his claws.
Sorry for interrupting your discussion.
It's alright.
Yes, but on that last note, respect goes both ways, wouldn't you agree? He shakes his head in a disappointed way.
Ooh, not when you're upper class.
Sadly, not in this profession.
After this statement, he turns to Leaf.
Leaf, was it? I was hoping I could get a moment alone to talk with Lord Richter.
Of course! I'll be going now.
His taloned feet clack against the floor as he walks away.
Oh, it was nice seeing you, Richter.
Take care. After he's gone, Kadaj nods his head to the right.
Walk with me?
Sure. His tail swishes back and forth as we mosey down the corridor.
How has your time here been?
Very good for the most part. It's been very accommodating. I've even made friends with the captain of the guard.
Yes. Lyle Reed. The brave, shining knight.
He laughs to himself.
I have a feeling he doesn't like me much.
Oh. He has difficulty opening up to people. That's not true, but I'd rather not tell Kadaj that Lyle doesn't actually like him.
I find that hard to believe.
Fuck!
You've only been here for a few weeks and he's become one of your dearest friends.
Oh, we're just both gay.
Yeah.
Yes, I suppose he has.
That reminds me. Are you planning on attending the ball?
I was planning on going, yes. I've put so much work into setting it up that it'd be a shame not to go.
Planning on bringing anyone? There are plenty of pretty ladies in the court that you could ask. Or gentlemen, if you prefer that.
I blush at the thought of going to a party with someone like Lyle by my side. Yes, I suppose there are.
It's okay, though. I still don't know who I will go with. I'll most likely end up deciding on the night it happens.
He lets out a small chuckle and then stops, walking to look out the window.
Why were you sent here?
What?
Sorry if this seems out of nowhere.
With like a music sting and everything.
Yeah. I'm just curious. What does Aaron want from this exchange? Please, let us know. We are also curious.
What does he mean? I was sent here for the same reason he was. Lyre was in need of advisors for the king. It was a simple trade deal. I was sent here to help the King of Lyre with maintaining order for a hefty price. After I finish answering, he takes a moment to respond as he stares at one of the windows.
As I had thought. I am here as a diplomat too, but that was not the only task I was given.
What was the other task? He pauses and looks at me with a very sincere look in his eyes.
People of Driz are worried. They fear that Lyre is falling out of touch with the rest of the kingdoms. Our cooperation goes on ever so smoothly, but our lands and connections are as separated as ever.
Okay, Alexios.
And our king...
He runs his paw on the windowsill, touching a flower with one of his claws.
Never mind that. I was sent here as a diplomat, but my main objective will stay the same. I have been instructed to keep an eye on this kingdom and reconnect it with the others.
I understand what he is saying now. You were sent here as a spy? He looks back at me with a confused glance, which then breaks into a warm expression.
Do you think I am?
Well, it's just...
Whether I am or not does not matter. A word of advice, Richter. Trust your own judgment and rely on what you know. That's the only way you can get by in this line of work. What you know can help you in the end.
He puts his paws behind his back and continues walking.
It's okay to trust people, but never as much as you trust yourself. Now, I have one more question for you.
What is it?
Where do your allegiances lie?
Man, I'm just trying to plan a party.
It's a lot, really, all at once.
Yeah, he's coming at me with an intensity. He does not understand how little I have planned and how little uninvolved I am with any kind of scheming. So it's like, I didn't realize that this was on the table.
Your true allegiances.
Is this a trick question? Is he testing me? Whatever he's doing, I don't like it. The obvious answer would be Lyre. But something tells me that's not correct. I am loyal to the crown, and most of all, I am loyal to Tigran. I can't get an exact read on his expression, but he seems pleased with my answer.
Perhaps you're smarter than most. Loyalty to Tigran is important, but you must not forget your dedication to those who matter.
Why are you asking me these questions?
I wanted to make sure I could trust you. I'll tell you this, I am not a spy.
That's something a spy would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I am simply making sure that our kingdoms can work in tandem. Mending the rift, if you will.
By spying.
Driz wants cooperation with Lyre, but we cannot do that without connections and relations. Much like how Lyre is contemplating how to tackle the bandit problem to the south, Driz is taking its own strides to secure stability.
He's like, spies are middlemen. I'm an assassin.
Do not insult me.
He stops walking and looks out the window to see the sun move closer and closer to where the mountains touch the sky.
I fear that after this ball, things will be turning in an undesirable direction. No matter how hard people like us try to keep everything together.
What do you mean by that? I haven't noticed any plot happening.
I was gonna say, why do you say that? What's going on?
Given the lack of other signs of things going this way, it just makes him seem incredibly suspicious. There's a long silence before he speaks. Listen, I just went outside for the first time today.
At least nothing I can perfectly predict at the moment. We shall cross that bridge once we get to it. There's a lot of work in store for us. What do you mean? just imagining how you'd respond to anyone coming up to you like this. You're like, I'm at a Panda Express right now. What are you talking about? He turns on his heel and slowly walks away. Oh, one more thing.
What is it?
You don't have to worry about the king finding out about this conversation.
Well, now I am.
I won't say a word, and I'm sure you won't either, correct?
About what? What am I keeping a secret? I don't see a reason for why I would say anything. Lord Kadaj hasn't done anything wrong necessarily. I would even say he's doing his job better because of it. I agree that our kingdoms need to be more tightly connected if we want to ensure stability. I have no reason to say anything. He smirks back at me.
That's good to hear. Because if you did, it would be unpleasant for both of us.
Okay.
What would I be revealing?
That's perfect, like looking down the hall.
Okay.
It's, Lyle?
You're like, Lyle? Lyle!
I need an adult!
Green Cat's being weird.
And it would certainly make our jobs a lot harder.
He says this with no malice in his voice. Does he mean well?
That was pretty malicious.
That seems malicious, yeah.
Oh, and if you were looking for the king, I saw him in the gardens. You'll want to go to him now, though. The sun will be setting soon.
Thank you.
Have a pleasant afternoon, Rector.
Same to you. Do you know that you have menacing theme music? Do you hear that? My mind wanders back to that question. Where do your allegiances lie? I'm not sure if I answered that question truthfully. My allegiances lie with whomever I'm currently serving. Lyre, Aaron, or Tigran as a whole? That'll be the death of you. Like Kadaj said, I'll get to that bridge when I cross it. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, bro. I just need to get through the rest of the week.
Same.